All right, today we're going to dive into a new narrative that's bubbling up in the world of AI. And this isn't about just another model or a flashy new tool. No, this is a proposal for a completely different way to build AI from the ground up, and it's called Adya. So let's just kick things off with a feeling I think a lot of developers, a lot of businesses are having right now. Building with AI. It just feels broken, doesn't it? It's clunky, it's way too complicated, and honestly, it often fails to live up to the hype. But why? What is the real root cause of all this frustration? Well, the problem really starts with something we can call the AI builder's dilemma. See, right now, if you're trying to create any kind of serious AI application, you're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place, caught between two very different and equally flawed types of tools. Okay, so on one side, you've got these super powerful AI development engines. Think of things like Cursor or internal tools at Google. They are fantastic for developers who want total control. But here's the catch. The code they spit out is basically a prototype. It is not shippable, and it completely ignores the really hard stuff, like deployment or maintenance. Then, on the other side of the spectrum, you have the no-code builders. And yeah, they're great for slapping together a user interface really fast, but the back end is often a house of cards, super unstable, and the code just is not built for the real world. So you've got two choices, and neither one actually gets you to a finished, working product. So what happens then? Well, users are forced to create this fragile stack. And what's so great about this slide is how it just shows you the chaos. You're grabbing one tool for your UI, another one for the backend, and then you're basically duct taping it all together with orchestration tools like Zapier, separate multi-agent tech, database mappers. Oh, and compliance? Yeah, you're pretty much doing that by hand. It's just this incredibly messy, fragile tower of different technologies. And the end result of trying to stitch all that together is a system that is insanely expensive to build. It's fragile, it breaks all the time, and it's so slow to update. You need a whole team of specialized engineers just to keep the lights on. And even after all that time and money, it fundamentally cannot scale. It is a recipe for disaster. You know, this messy architecture is more than just an inconvenience. It actually creates three core problems that feel, well, pretty much unsolvable with the tools we have today. And they're holding back the entire field of agentic AI. So these are the big three roadblocks we're talking about. First, you just can't effectively scale systems that have a lot of AI agents. Second, there's a complete lack of any real governance or compliance. And third, the cost just explodes when you try to give an AI any kind of long-term memory. Let's dig into that first one. Scaling. It just fails. Most of the multi-agent systems out there today use a central orchestrator. Think of it like one single manager trying to micromanage thousands of employees at the same time. It just gets completely overwhelmed, its memory overloads, and the entire system just grinds to a halt. It simply does not work once you get beyond a handful of agents. Next is governance, and this is a huge one. When you hear people talk about AI guardrails today, they're really just talking about basic content filters like blocking bad words. But for any serious business application, you need so much more than that. You have to enforce complex business rules, standard operating procedures, legal agreements, even actual laws. And right now, current systems have absolutely no reliable way of doing that. And finally, the elephant in the room, cost. To do anything complex, an AI needs a good memory, or what we call a long context window. But the way this works today means that your token usage, which is what you pay for, goes up exponentially. It becomes so ridiculously expensive and so technically unstable that running complex, long-running tasks is pretty much impossible for most. Okay, so we've got these massive fundamental roadblocks. How in the world do you get past them? Well, according to this new narrative, the answer is not to just build a slightly better tool to add to that fragile stack. The answer is to change the entire foundation. And this is Adya's proposed architectural shift. And this slide is fantastic because it just lays it all out, how Adya plans to tackle each of those problems at its absolute core. For scaling, it introduces a multi-agent network, or MAN, where tons of agents can run in parallel without a central bottleneck. For governance, it uses what's called a mathematical governance layer, which turns business rules into mathematical proofs that an agent has to satisfy. And for cost, it uses an event-sourced memory system that tracks what the agent does, not just the raw data. And this slashes token usage by a whopping 50 to 70%. So the takeaway here is absolutely crucial. While all these other platforms are busy generating little snippets of code that you still have to plug into that fragile stack, Adya's goal is totally different. It aims to generate entire production-ready systems that are stable and ready to go from day one. Now look, having game-changing technology is one thing, but getting people to actually use it, that is a completely different ballgame. And this is where the Adya story shifts from being just about tech to being about building an entire AI ecosystem. You know, the biggest hurdle for any powerful new tech is always the adoption barrier. I mean, if it's too complex, it's basically useless because no one will touch it. Adya's answer to this is a conversational interface called AIA, and it's designed to just completely get rid of that complexity. And the process is it's incredibly simple. A user, even someone who's not technical at all, just tells the AI what they're trying to do in plain English. And from there, AI handles literally everything. It picks the right models, the right tools, the right backend, and it builds the entire solution for you from start to finish. Absolutely zero technical skill required. To really drive this adoption, Adya is being positioned as the center of a massive new AI ecosystem in India, and it's built on 5 key pillars. You've got big tech like Google and NVIDIA providing support. You have governments helping to accelerate adoption. You have startup communities, big corporates providing real-world problems to solve, and of course, the venture capital funds that are looking to invest in the next big thing. And here's the really clever part. These 5 pillars aren't just sitting there side by side. The whole idea is to create this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle of growth, what they're calling the Adya flywheel. Let's just walk through how this thing is supposed to build momentum. It all starts with developers building cool stuff on the platform. But they aren't just building in a vacuum. They're tackling real problems submitted by corporate partners. Then, the government helps push these solutions out into the market. This naturally gets the attention of VCs, who start funding the best startups. And then, to complete the loop, Adya itself gives the builders their own AI agents to handle all the sales and go-to-market work. Every single step just fuels the next one. So if you're a developer or an entrepreneur thinking about joining this marketplace, the value proposition is just immense. You get free AI credits, you get real customers from day one, you get an AI sales agent working for you for free, a direct line to investors, and nationwide visibility. It is designed from the ground up to be an accelerator for anyone who wants to build with AI. And this really brings us to the core thesis of this entire narrative. Adya is not being presented as just another tool you can add to your messy stack. It's being positioned as fundamental infrastructure, but it's infrastructure that comes with its own powerful distribution engine baked right in. And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought to chew on. We started this whole thing talking about the problem of a fragile, broken, fragmented stack. The solution being proposed here isn't just better tech. It's a fully integrated ecosystem that handles everything from the initial idea all the way to making the sale. Which really makes you wonder, is this all-in-one model the future for how we're all going to build with AI?